A business owner who takes no regular inventory usually goes broke. Taking an inventory is a fact-finding and a fact-facing process. The business owner will find items that are desirable and in good shape, that he'll want to keep in his inventory and hope to sell. But if he is honest, he will also find damaged goods or items that are just not going to sell. A good business owner understands that he must dispose of items that he cannot sell and spend his time and effort selling the marketable items. You can't just formulate the inventory in your head. You have to write it down to see it all and document correctly. Well, that's the way to a successful business. Step 4 in the 12-step program said we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Just like a good business owner, you're going to have to take an honest inventory of your character traits and actions. Remember that a moral inventory includes not only negative things about your character, but also an inventory of the positive things. When you developed your drinking or drugging problem or your process addiction, you were using it to try and deal with uncomfortable feelings. You learned to avoid taking an honest look at yourself. The whole purpose of the 12-step program is to get at the root causes of your drinking or addiction problem. And without doing this, you just won't achieve long-term success. So, this is why you should stop taking others' inventories and start taking a very hard look at your character traits, feelings, and beliefs. What people, situations, or institutions have upset you? Even if you think it's mostly someone else's fault, I'm going to ask you to look at your 10 or 20% of the origin of the conflict or problem. So what exactly do you think the word moral means? Webster Dictionary defines it as relating to principles of right and wrong behavior or conforming to a standard of right behavior. So try and hold that idea in your mind as you work this step. It wouldn't be unusual for you to fail to see the reason why taking a moral inventory could have anything to do with getting your alcoholism or addiction problem under control. So this is just another one of those moments in the 12-step program where you should focus on how the program works and not why you have to do certain things for it to work. Just accept the fact that it works and do it. What do you think is right and wrong in your life? Have you done things that go against your own morals? What code of ethics do you purport to live by? Are you clear about what you believe in and what you stand for, or how you think you should live? Your internal discomfort comes from one or two exaggerated human states of mind, desire or fear. Although desire and fear are natural states, when one or the other takes over, that is when problems occur. God gave you instincts for a purpose. The desire for sexual relationship, material security, emotional security, and companionship are perfectly necessary and right. But when these instincts, designed for your survival, become exaggerated, there are going to be problems in your life. Nearly every serious emotional problem is the result of misdirected instinct. This then creates supercharged states of desire or fear. When one or the other takes over, you will almost certainly feel anger or resentment. Now, interestingly, the AA literature says that resentment is the #1 cause of relapse. So if you're hoarding resentments and anger, you can expect to be unhappy. I'll bet you can relate to feeling restless, irritable, and discontented because that is usually what an alcoholic or an addict feels on a regular basis. And this, of course, sets you up for drinking or participating in your addiction again. If you want to get sober, you really can't afford the luxury of carrying around anger and resentment anymore. This is something that needs to be explored when you write your 4th step. But instead of looking at the wrong you believe others have done, look at your own mistakes. Where have you been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, or frightened. And don't forget, when you're doing your fourth step, you need to do an inventory on your sexual conduct. Are you experiencing guilt and shame or anger related to sexual behaviors? Have you done something sexually that goes against your basic morals and values? Have you taken advantage of others sexually? Or has your sexual conduct harmed others? Have you used sex or withholding sex to punish or manipulate others? Remember, not only are you going to look at how your behavior has made you unhappy, but also how it has made other people unhappy. The book entitled The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions says every time a person imposes his instincts unreasonably on others, unhappiness follows. When you analyze your behaviors, you may begin to experience guilt or shame, or you might be the type of person who is offended at the idea of even taking a moral inventory of yourself. You might be thinking that all you have to do is stop drinking or stop your addiction, and your instincts will return to a natural balance and you'll feel calm and collected and in control of your life. Or you could be experiencing a lot of self-pity, believing that your anxieties and troubles were caused by the behavior of other people and that they are the ones who need to assess their moral inventory. Your self-righteous indignation at how you were mistreated makes you feel justified in indulging in your addiction, and it gives you an excuse. So you're going to have to give up excuses if you want to get well. Something has to be done about your resentments, self-pity, and false pride, or you won't be able to sustain recovery. I know you can't change people, places, and things, but you do have a choice. You can learn to change the way you respond to people, places, and situations. That's basically what the 12-step program is about. I hope I'm convincing you that you need to do step 4, whether you want to or not. I mean, I hear a lot of people say that they're afraid to do this step. Just remember that your character defects are probably not any worse than those of anybody else in the program. If you talk to others who've done a 4th step, you'll usually hear them say that it provided them with a tremendous sense of relief. You see, when you make an honest and sincere effort to do this moral inventory, you will begin to gain a different perspective on yourself. When you finally face yourself and openly discuss all of this with your sponsor in step 5, you will be on the pathway to gaining humility. Humility and responsibility are the basic spiritual principles that you have to develop by working this 12-step program. Humility starts with admitting your faults and making a commitment to remedy them. Humility is really the root of all grace and virtue. It must be made an object of special desire, prayer, faith, and practice. You have to want it. By now, you should have a sponsor that you are contacting regularly, and you're going to 12-step meetings several times a week. So, it's time for you to get with your sponsor and make plans to do your 5th step. Instead of procrastinating doing the 4th step, you'll get excited about taking this inventory, because if you identify the problem, you have a chance to correct the problem. Now you can look forward to getting all this off your chest as you do your 5th step with your sponsor.